Nigeria is one of the largest oil producers in Africa. The country holds vast crude oil reserves and exports millions of barrels every year. Yet millions of Nigerians continue to struggle with poverty. So why hasn't rising global oil prices translated into greater prosperity? Some critics argue that policies during the administration of Muhammadu Buhari, particularly forward sales of crude oil, limited Nigeria's ability to benefit from high global oil prices. Nigeria's economy relies heavily on oil. The country is a member of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, and crude exports generate most of Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings. The sector is managed mainly by the national oil company, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. Because oil dominates government revenue, global oil price movements have a huge impact on Nigeria's economy. Oil forward sales involve selling future oil production in advance. In exchange, the government receives immediate financing. The oil is later delivered to buyers or lenders as repayment. These arrangements are often used to raise cash quickly when governments face budget deficits or economic crises. However, they also mean that some of the country's future oil production is already committed before it is produced. When global oil prices increase, oil-producing countries usually earn more money from exports. But if a portion of future oil production has already been sold through forward contracts, the country cannot sell those barrels at the higher market price. Instead, they must be delivered according to earlier agreements. Some economists and policy analysts have criticized the heavy reliance on oil-backed loans and forward sales. They argue that tying future oil production to debt repayment can reduce financial flexibility. If too much future oil is already committed, governments may have fewer resources available for development projects. Critics believe this approach can weaken the long-term benefits of oil wealth. Despite its vast natural resources, Nigeria still faces widespread poverty and unemployment. When oil revenue fails to grow during global price increases, the government may struggle to invest in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and job creation. For many Nigerians, this gap between resource wealth and living standards remains one of the country's biggest economic challenges. Nigeria's oil industry also faces other serious problems. These include oil theft, pipeline vandalism, aging infrastructure, and declining production capacity. These issues reduce the amount of oil available for export. Combined with forward oil commitments, they can further limit the country's ability to benefit from high global oil prices. Some oil-producing nations manage their resources differently. For example, Norway invests oil revenue into a massive sovereign wealth fund to support future generations. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia uses large reserves and strategic planning to stabilize its oil income. These approaches show how policy choices can shape the long-term impact of natural resource wealth.